Hello everyone, welcome to the Benjamin Cura Show. This is an exclusive look at the Pier 17, the ESPN Seaport Studios, where some of their biggest and best shows are hosted out of Get Up with Mike Greenberg and their excellent cast. Today it's Hannah Storm who's in. If you look at First Take, Molly and Stephen A and their rotating cast. So this is really the place to be. I'm excited to take you back here. Hello everyone, it is a pleasure to join you today and to welcome you back to the Benjamin Cura Show. I'm Benjamin Cura. Let's kick it off. I do want to address where I've been and what I've been up to. The show was on a 2-week break following my trip to New York City. I was invited to the Sports Emmy Awards ceremony where I was presented as the winner and recipient of the Jim McKay Memorial Scholarship. The ceremony and reception were amazing. I had a great time, beautiful ceremony. Tom Rinaldi was a presenter for the award and my segment, and I was incredibly honored in that moment. And I made my acceptance speech with the intention of honoring those who came before me. I wanted to recognize those who had put me in a position to succeed, and that was my main goal. The speech was received very well. The response afterwards really showed me that a lot of people resonated with my story, or at least certain elements of it. If you'd like to watch my speech, click on the YouTube card that appears at the top right corner of your screen. If you didn't catch it, the speech should be one of the most recent videos on the YouTube channel. While in New York, I also paid a visit to some friends over at ESPN's Seaport Studios. That's the video that you saw at the beginning of this episode. A bit of background. The Pier 17 Studios are home to some of ESPN's biggest shows. We're talking fan favorites like First Take and Get Up. As mentioned, I said hi to some old friends, made some new ones, and I'm looking forward to maybe returning in the future. Overall, I loved my time in New York. It's a beautiful city. I've been there before, and I was telling this to some of my friends while I was there. I've been to New York before, but every time that you come here, it feels like it's the first time. There's so much to do, so many activities. It feels like a sports town. It feels like a media town. So it was a lot of fun to be in another big market, and I hope to be back soon. But now I'm back in Miami, and let's kick off the sports talk. The Los Angeles Rams. What a week for them. What an offseason. What a year. They've spent the last 12 to 14 months being at the top of sports telecasts. For all good news, by the way. They haven't messed up. They are committed to building a franchise that can win now and that can win for years to come. They've had their fair share of, oh, that's awkward, what do we do now moments. For example, Aaron Donald telling the world that he's good, he doesn't need football. He wanted a new extension worked out. You know what the Rams said? They said, okay. They didn't wait around. They weren't going to get into a nasty contract dispute because Aaron Donald is worth it. Aaron Donald is worth every penny of his new $95 million extension. That makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in the league, by the way. And I agree with that. In today's NFL, the most valuable position is the quarterback. You cannot win in this era without an elite QB at the helm of your operations. All of today's winning franchises acknowledge that. They all figured it out. They're not interested in ignoring the facts. The Rams chose not to be comfortable with mediocrity or being just above average. They traded away Jared Goff, who was the quarterback that took them to the Super Bowl during their Super Bowl run. And they traded him to get better. They wanted the best at quarterback because they knew that without an elite quarterback, they couldn't even compete within the NFC. Not with Aaron Rodgers, not with Tom Brady, not with Kyler Murray, and not with talented teams like the Cowboys and the offensive nightmare that is the 49ers. They play the 49ers more than once a season on their road to the championship. So they needed to be championship ready, and that roster needs to reflect that. So quarterback, the most important position in football today, is taken care of. They got Matthew Stafford. The second most important player on the championship roster is a pass rusher. If a team finds their guy at quarterback, the next step is to find an elite pass rusher and back up the Brinks truck for them. Hand over blank checks. Why? Because it's worth it. It's interesting how great teams who are trying to build winning cultures are addressing their team's needs. The Buffalo Bills did it. They've got their quarterback. They've got their wide receiver one. They have a defense. But their focus this offseason, after falling short, what was it? They went out and almost right away, when allowed by league rules, they found and signed a pass rusher. The Buffalo Bills signed all-pro pass rusher Von Miller to a massive 6-year, $120 million contract. Why? Because overpaying quarterbacks and pass rushers is okay. I'm willing to pay a little extra for the guys who will lead me to the promised land. The guys who will help my franchise raise that Lombardi in February. I've heard so many fans, So many get off my lawn type of guys screaming and hollering about cap space this week. How the Rams are doing this. Is the cap space a myth? No, it exists. But here's the thing about cap space. It can be manipulated. If you haven't heard it yet, I'm here to tell you. Front offices spend a lot of money behind the scenes. You don't see these individuals on the field, but you definitely see the results of their work on the field. Accountants, financial experts, financial analysts, attorneys, lawyers. Those guys and gals get paid the big bucks too. It's their responsibility to manipulate the team's dollars, to spread it out, to move it around so that the team and the team's owners can maximize those dollars. I also believe that other owners who aren't as eager to win use cap space as a crutch. Oh, we can't spend that much money on a star. It's unrealistic. The cap space won't allow it. We won't have a team. Oh, we can't spend that much on multiple stars. The cap space. I'm almost positive that there are owners who are the boy who cried wolf when it comes to cap space. Whenever they feel that a player or a star is going to cost them too much and they're complacent, they whine about cap space. The cap exists to keep things fair. Let's get that straight. It should not be used behind the scenes by underachieving franchises and their owners as an excuse. That's an insult to the players who work hard and the staff who puts in a tireless amount of hours and the fans who both emotionally and fiscally support these teams. They deserve better. So when I see an owner like Stan Kroenke, owner of the LA Rams, moving the way that he does and maximizing his money for the benefit of the team and its fans, I can't help but smile. Stan Kroenke has revolutionized the Rams and the league for the better. He is so eager to win. How could you not love that? He has assembled the best team possible, ran by a brilliant coach, and he's paying all of them top dollar. Stan Kroenke said, I've got time and I've got money. So what's it going to take to win? Kroenke made head coach Sean McVay the highest paid coach in NFL history. We don't know the amount of years, but he's getting paid a rumored $15 to $18 million a year. Just this offseason, Stan Kroenke paid quarterback Matthew Stafford 4 years, $160 million. Wide receiver Cooper Kupp, 5 years, $110 million. Aaron Donald, 3 years, $95 million. Bobby Wagner, 5 years, $50 million. Allen Robinson, 3 years, $46.5 million. And most people are unaware because of all the big headline news from the Rams this week. But Kroenke also, it got rumored yesterday in a report, he also plans to spend $175 million to build the facility in addition to the new stadium. Stan Kroenke, in a single offseason, in just those deals and plans alone, has spent almost $600 million. Mr. Kroenke, if you're watching this eventually, I have a tremendous amount of respect for you. You want to win. You've committed a lot of time, money, and energy to achieving greatness, and you've got it. Owners like Stan Kroenke make the NFL better. It makes it more exciting. It's a better product. It's more marketable. And trust me, I also know that Stan Kroenke is a businessman. He's expecting a big return on investment. He knows that he'll get his money back tenfold. The notoriety, the commercials, the fans, the TV contracts, the publicity, the success. As long as the Rams continue on this track, they will continue to be successful in the new NFL era. And I'll be the first one in line to watch. This Warriors-Celtics final series is getting good. Boston leads the series 2-1, and in my opinion, Game 4 is a must-win for Golden State. They cannot afford to drop 3-1 in the series. They simply won't come back. If they drop Game 4, there's no way the Warriors are capable of a comeback. Maybe they'll drop Game 4 and still win the series, and this will end up being a all-time freezing cold take, but I don't see that happening. If Curry, Clay, and Draymond can't rally themselves and the young guys to win Game 4, it's just not possible. Keys for the Warriors. Draymond Green has to show up. He has to make an impact. He needs to be aggressive. He has to tap into that energy. He played poorly in Game 1, and he was non-existent in Game 3. He acknowledged it. Go look at the press conference. He wasn't exactly high on himself after the game.
every time I saw him get into it during Game 3, get a little aggressive, I thought in my head, yes, this is what they need to win. This is the recipe for success. The Warriors need Draymond. Not timid Draymond, not non-aggressive Draymond. They need the usual Draymond Green with all his tenacity and passion. That's got to be present in Game 3, or Game 4 at least. Steve Kerr, I want to see more Kuminga. He's big, he's young, he brings a presence to the court that you don't have oftentimes since you are a historically smaller team, at least during this run. Get him involved. I've always hated, for obvious reasons, the "but he's too young" argument in sports. People say, wait, he needs to prepare for the moment. No, he doesn't. He needs to play in the moment. He needs to be in the moment. And I think he wants to be. That's how champions are made. While I love Steve Kerr's coaching and the way that Golden State develops their players, I want to see Kuminga. I need his presence on the floor. I need a big guy out there. I need and want to see stars made. I want to witness confidence building in these big moments for a young guy that absolutely deserves it after the season that he's had. And if that seems a little desperate throwing out a guy so young, if it seems desperate from the Warriors and Kerr, so be it. You are desperate. You're trailing in the NBA Finals. It's time to take out the clipboard and draw up something new, something fresh. Lastly, I need Klay to show up. But honestly, I'm not worried about it. I think that'll just happen with time. He's had a solid showing in Game 3. He's a champion. He'll find his footing. I do need a sense of urgency from him. He's got to pick up the pace. Game 4 is tomorrow at TD Garden. The action kicks off at 9 p.m. Eastern. I can't wait to see how the Warriors respond. I think they've got it in them. I think Golden State gets that championship DNA, and it'll kick into gear in this one. I also want to give credit where it's due in our next story. Rafael Nadal. He had an incredible Roland Garros run, and he topped it off with a championship win over the weekend. 209 weeks consecutive as number 1, but he was entering a match against one of the best clay court athletes in the world in Rudd. This whole championship picture seemed like it was the perfect time for an intense back and forth between Casper Ruud and Rafael Nadal. But it didn't end up being that. Instead, we witnessed an unbelievable show of dominance from Rafael Nadal to earn him Grand Slam number 22. It had to be one of the most lopsided championship situations I've ever seen. The only time it ever looked competitive was in the middle of the second set, and after that, Nadal does what he does best. He was off to the races. He does what great athletes do. LeBron, Tom Brady. It has nothing to do with physical strength or stature. He outwills you. And no tennis player in history can outdo Rafael Nadal in that department. Great sporting summer, tennis, baseball, basketball, got some golf, got some USFL action. I'm definitely enjoying this time of year. And with that said, we're done with this episode of The Benjamin Cure Show. Make sure you like and subscribe. Engage in the comment section. Until next week, I'm Benjamin Cure. This is The Benjamin Cure Show. Take care, everyone.